I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
You know, I can be excited and unmute the phone. That's how excited I am about this show. So I am very excited about the show tonight, because anytime I feel like when people are actually doing the work, okay, when someone is actually doing the work and they are open enough and helpful enough to come back and say, this is what I've done and this is how you can do it too. I love when people share information, because that's the only way we're going to, get to our financial independence as a people, is if we share information and work with each other. So I'm really excited about tonight. But before we get started, you know what I'm going to say. Okay. First, let me just give out just some shout outs to everyone that joined us on time. Thank you. Michelle, Marcus, Yasmin, Dominique. I want to give a shout out to our elder who comes from Riverview, Florida. He signs on every single HAPI Talks from its inception, which was April 22nd of last year. So this is literally our 1 year anniversary. So this is even an extra special show. So John Henry Staples, he's our eldest, and he gets on from Riverview, Florida. So peace to you, John, and peace to everyone that is joining us tonight. So we have a screening on May 1st. That's next Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get your tickets, okay? We have, just go to hapifilm.com. You go to hapifilm.com, you can get everything. Not only can you get your tickets for the screening, and even if you've already seen HAPI, it's okay to see a film twice. I saw The Wiz 1,000 times. I've seen Star Wars 100 times. I've seen Brown Sugar 1,000,000 times. So it is okay for you guys to see HAPI one more time. So please go to hapifilm.com and get your screening tickets. After the screening, we will have a special talk back session with some of the cast members. So it's a really nice treat, after you've seen the film, to be able to just emotionally decompress with people that's from the film that you can have a conversation with. Also, while you're on hapifilm.com, make sure you sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter has all the good stuff in there. We have a health article that's in there every single month. We have a financial innovator. We have financial 101 news. We've teamed up with Apparel Federal Credit Union. So they provide some 101 financial news for us every single month. So that's really invaluable. And then we also feature a Black business. And what's interesting is that everyone that's here tonight has actually been featured in that section in the, on our newsletter. So this is another way how, we are literally trying to keep relationships going and form new relationships. So this is really nice. So sign up for the newsletter. And then of course, you guys can we have DVDs. We have, 2 other DVDs, Nuwbia, and The Tech and the Untold Story. And we also have other merchandise, like t-shirts, like the one I'm wearing right here, our Nuwbia. We have lots of merchandise. So we have something for everybody. So just please go to hapifilm.com and you can get all the good stuff. All right. So without further ado, we're just going to introduce each of these businesses because we have a lot of learning to do tonight. This is very, very exciting to have everyone. And I also want to say peace to Jualine in the chat, and Alyssa B and Aoife. Nice for you guys to join us. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with Imhotep. Okay, Imhotep is from Nuwbia Apparel. Hey, Nuwbia. Or I'm sorry, hey, hey, Joe.
One half of Nuwbia.
Yeah, huh?
One half of Nuwbia.
One half of Nuwbia, yes, because that's very important because we're going to have to talk about that. So, yeah, for you guys that don't know, Nuwbia Apparel actually designed our HAPI t-shirts, which you can find on hapifilm.com. Go get your t-shirt. But yeah, this is the brainchild behind our design. All right, hold tight. Okay, I'm gonna bring in Miss Khadijah. All right, now this is Khadijah. Now let me tell you why Khadijah is so special. How you doing, Khadijah?
Hi.
Okay, so Khadijah bears our name. So HAPI is the ancient Egyptian name for the Nile River. Okay, and so we have a friend in common, Nile. And Nile has sent me Facebook when you first got started, and she was like, "Oh, you gotta check this girl out." Da-da-da. And all I saw was Nile list. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna be my instant friend." And so, yeah, so I'm so happy that you're able to join us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we're gonna bring in Miss Kim Harris. Oh, hey, what's up, Kim? All right, so unmute. Yeah, no, everyone's so excited to unmute.
I know, right?
Yeah, so Kim is 1/3 of Harlem Hops, and she has some really exciting news to tell us at the end about what Harlem Hops is doing. So it's Harlem Hops is a brewery that's located here in Harlem, and actually this is a bar, and you guys are the only. Are you guys the only Black-owned bar in Harlem?
We're the only Black-owned, 100% Black-owned craft beer bar in Harlem. Yes, and actually in Manhattan, really.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, so we're gonna talk more about that. Okay, and then last but not least, this couple right here. All right, this is Eric and Miss Leslie. So I fell in love with these two because every time I would go into like a webinar with the local machine or just anybody, I would always see you two sitting together like that. Like, wow, they must really have a good relationship because they're always together and they're always smiling and you know, just right there. And so then I found out that they actually own Black Silt Yoga, which is super cool. The other piece is that they are going to, they are writing our health piece for the newsletter. And so it's really good that you guys are here. Yay.
Hey.
What's up?
All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want you guys just to, and then let me say thank you again for, giving us some time here to really dissect your businesses and help people who want to start a business or people who already have a business and just need some ideas or just need some inspiration. So let me just say first is thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So you know what, Miss Khadijah, since you are HAPI, the HAPI list, we're going to start with you. Can you just tell us, how did you come up? Like, tell a little bit about yourself and just tell us how you came up with this idea to do the Nile list.
Right. So I am from Savannah, Georgia. I am a Georgia girl. I went to Spelman College, so also proud HBCU grad. And I am a practicing attorney. So I went to Harvard Law School and then moved to DC. And I've been practicing law in Washington, DC for the last 6 years. But it was during my, during a year-long clerkship appointment with a federal court judge here in DC that I really incubated the idea for Nile. And it was, it really started mostly as like my retail therapy like hobby when I was frustrated with work, and a lot of that frustration stemmed from the just constant exposure to the criminal justice system, which I had not had before, and seeing just black defendant, and the wheels of justice turning was really crazy. It was such an eye-opening experience. It was really stressful, and usually I would be doing my retail therapy and decompressing, but I was on that federal salary, that federal government paycheck was not allowing me to do that. So I was like, well, why don't I just make a list of all the places that I'm going to shop with? once this year-long appointment is over. And I knew I wanted to do all my shopping with Black-owned brands. So I just started like poking around online for places that I wanted to shop at, that I'd heard about, that people told me about. And it became my obsession. I just dug in and started doing it in my spare time. And I got really excited about it once I started finding out about stuff that I just had no idea existed. When I was like, oh, there are Black brands that make batteries and paint and all kinds of cool stuff that I did not know about at all. And then once I hit like 700 businesses on my list, and I had family and friends literally harassing me all the time, like, we want to buy Black too, share the list with us. I was like, okay, I think this should be more than just like a Google spreadsheet. I'm going to build this into something else. So that is the advent of the Nile list.
Wow. Okay. Just out of necessity. I like that. Okay. All right. We're going to come back to this. Imhotep, tell us about Nuwbia Apparel.
Nuwbia Apparel is basically a apparel company me and my wife birthed from this desire of, wearing clothing that represented, us as a people. Just growing up and, shopping, you always used to, not as much now, but you used to always just see clothing that represented everybody else. And me particularly, since, I've been in knowledge itself since high school. So I take you back a little bit. And all those years, just still seeing clothing that represented somebody other than myself. So, being that I was an artist, I just decided, I was looking at people like Fubu and stuff who were doing apparel, for us, by us movement, and, Black apparel clothing companies, the Carl Kanai, different designers. And I said, well, let me just overlay, what I was into, which was Egyptian, Sudanese culture, and overlay it into apparel, and that's what birthed it all, my love of art. I'm the art. Unfortunately, don't have the brains here right now. My wife is the brains of the operation. She's going to push me, like, why don't you just merge your art with apparel? And she got, behind the idea, and together we were just able to, build, a company that represent ourselves, basically.
Okay, yeah, so this brother right here is being modest. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. If you get onto his Instagram, and I'm gonna show it a little bit later. When you get onto his Instagram, he's like straight up like at the step pyramid in Kemet. He's literally there like sketching. So this is, he's right there trying to make this connection and bring it out in his, in his t-shirts and beautiful hats. I tell you, when you look at these symbols long enough, you're just like, oh my God, it's just such a, it's a spiritual thing. So yeah. All right. Miss Leslie and Derek.
Hey, what's going on, family?
Wow. We always have to fight over who gets to start.
Baby.
Well, we are Derek and Leslie Goodman. We're owners of Black Silt Yoga LLC, and we're both certified Kemetic yoga instructors. And Black Silt Yoga basically stemmed out of
her head,
out of my head, but basically us needing healing spaces within our own communities. We walk into yoga classes and you don't see anybody that looks like yourself. Right. It's very hard to connect. And not until we took a Kemetic yoga class did we say, oh my gosh, there's something here. We need to share this with our community. So I dragged him on my journey, and then we just ended up being good at it together.
Yeah.
So we decided to get into Atlanta public schools. We've been teaching the babies. Before COVID, we were in the school system from morning to evening, helping the young. They let us teach Kemetic yoga in school. And for those of you who don't know, I'm sure Imhotep knows, and probably all of you, if you're following Felicia here, but Kemetic yoga is a form of African yoga based on Ma'at, these principles of balance that we all need. And much like the universe, our bodies have to be in balance too, so that we can be productive. And it started from us. I mean, we're on the temple walls. Our self in these rare forms, so that's how it started.
Okay.
You explained it well.
I know, we teach it together.
Yeah, we do this together. So, and we do virtually, we do in person, and couples yoga.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we love what we do.
We love it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I give you guys. I can tell. Plus, you guys are always hugged up everywhere. So
I don't know why he's sitting next to me like this. Yeah,
she be pulling me, Felicia. She pulled me in here. I don't.
All right, we're gonna come back to you guys. Miss Kim Harris, tell us about Harlem Hops.
Well, Harlem Hops is a craft beer bar. We're located in Harlem. And you know, I guess I came up with the concept out of necessity as well. I was drinking beer at the time, learning more and more about beer, but find myself traveling far to get to it. And I always had this passion to have like a bar or restaurant. And you know, I was just, you know, drinking beer, like maybe I should just do this here in Harlem because I'm tired of driving to Brooklyn. And I think one of the things about Harlem Hops is that's so special is that, you know, I worked on it for quite some time with different people, and it never really manifested until I met my partners my current partners, Stacey Lee and Kevin Bradford. And I think because all of these other partners, they didn't want to, like, I knew I wanted to have a purpose with what it was I was doing, but it wasn't until I met these two individuals that the purpose became really clear. And we had a bigger story to share with everyone, you know, the neighborhood and the craft beer community, remembering and reclaiming the history of beer and the origins, which started in Africa. And that is not something that you can Google. I had to hire the food griot, Tanya Hopkins. She's a food historian, to learn the real history of beer, which just became public a few months ago, that of its, you know, the largest brewery found in Egypt. But they never, like in the early 1900s, the British discovered it, but never documented it. So it's just, you know, the constant idea of our history being erased from our lives in an effort to keep suppressing Black people is something that we just been trying to encourage people to change their perspective of dealing with one another and Black people, because I knew Stacey, but I didn't know Kevin. And we just put our money together to make this thing happen because we all had the common purpose and all had, you know, wanted to have the passion for this, you know, industry. So we just want to encourage other people to consider working with each other. And recently we did a beer collaboration with 2 Black-owned brewers, which I don't know, I haven't seen anyone else do it before, but I'm sure someone has, but it may not have been as publicized, but we're working to do more collaborations like that to showcase other Black breweries and other Black people in beer. Like I said, remembering and reclaiming and growing the business in terms of in our own neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just a quick going around, how many years has everybody been in business? So Kim, how many years now?
We've been in business. This will be our 3rd year in June.
Okay. All right. Derek and Leslie?
Third
year.
Oh, okay.
12.
12 years. Okay. All right. And Ms. Khadijah?
So I came up with the idea for Nile in 2019, but the platform launched just over a year ago. So last March.
Okay, nice. Okay. And you know what's really cool is that all you guys' business all the businesses have a direct correlation and a direct pathway back to Kemet, which is really cool. Like that's fire. Okay. So now let's break this down a little bit further. So when you guys were coming up with your with your idea, when did you did you think about working with someone else, and if so, why and why not? Like Kim, you kind of answer that, but like Khadijah, just I'm curious, and your brand has been around for a year. Did you think about like starting a business with someone else, or you just like you're gonna do this and see how it rolls?
No, I did. And I actually started out with a friend who was going to be sort of the tech side and co-founder. And we very quickly realized that it was a lot more work than we thought it was going to be. Like, when we started it, we're like, oh, we're going to build a website. And then after a couple of months, we're like, oh no, this is a business. And then after a couple more months, we're like, oh, this is not even just a business. This is a startup, which means like, you know, extreme growth and a lot of tech heavy stuff. And so we were doing this as side hustles in addition to our full-time jobs. And my friend / co-founder was like, I ain't got time for this. So I wish you luck. I'm gonna support you in everything that you do, but I can't be putting the investment in time-wise. And she has been super supportive and very helpful as we continue to grow. But it has been a solo journey, although we've built a small team now. So it definitely is helpful to have other folks I can lean on.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking on your website. You have I was like, I was envious of your team. I was like, that's what's up. All right. Imhotep, how about you?
Yes. Well, actually, like I said, it was me and my wife. So we kind of started out just us grinding together as a side business. But it was some other brothers who, you know, definitely influenced us and helped us out. A good friend of mine with HAPI Apparel. He's revamping his brand now. He was an early influence. You know, one of the first people I started doing comedic apparel. Pharaonic up in New York. You know, I used to see them. Red Pill, Blue Pill. You know, they were making comedic art on apparel. So while I didn't really work with anyone else, you know, besides my wife at the time, there were other brothers, you know, who I saw doing it who were definitely influenced, or you know, put the battery in our belt, you know, that we could do it.
Yeah, yeah. How about you guys, Derek, Leslie?
We actually, it was just me and my wife really that started like just.
But wait, I'm sorry. But was it okay? So it was in her head, and so she was like, "Okay, I just want you to kind of do it with me." But when were you like, "Okay, this is about to be a business, and we're gonna work together"?
Well, actually, it kind of started where my wife was at first. She was in this hectic job, and so to kind of deal with that, we started taking yoga, right? And so we took it through a master teacher who teaches yoga, Yasir Rahotep. That's who we learned under. And so, and his business is Yoga Skills. That's his school for comedic yoga. It's the only one that we know of. And so we took his class one day, and it was really helping my wife, and it helped me. And so we decided from there, my wife had the idea. She even came up with the name. The name came to her, right? And so we were like, wow. So after we started taking the classes, we decided to get certified. And then we actually took a trip to Kemet. And that's where it really kind of just turned around. Like, this is what we should be doing for our community, for our people, for the babies, you know, just really a teaching element of not just like movements like yoga is, like movements, but actual
connection, ancestral connection.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of been us two. And of course we had other people around, like our master teacher and other yoga practitioners that dealt with comedic yoga. But the business side, it was just us.
Yeah. And I'll just add that, you know, there are people that kind of wanted to be a part, but we weren't willing to compromise on the comedic portion of our business. A lot of times people think yoga and all the things you can make, you know, with fitness and yoga, we strictly wanted to keep it comedic yoga, and we weren't willing to compromise on that. So for that reason, it was just, it's me and him.
No, that's what's up. Okay, I see another Harlem Hops person in the back. Let me just bring Kevin in. Hey, Kevin.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Oh, great.
Great. Hey,
all right. Yeah. So, you know, we were just okay. So, all right. So, really, it seems like everyone was just pushed into their business. You know, in some type of way. You know, they had you guys want to make a statement. So, my question is just about resources. Okay, how did you come up with money? You know, or this resources, like where did you start? Like, how did that piece come together for you guys? And anybody can start.
Well, I'll start. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. Do you want to say? You have a very profound story. Well, I can say this in terms of my finances. It wasn't until I had my intentions together that the money fell into my lap. So
Stop. Say that one more time.
it wasn't until I had my intentions together that the money fell into my lap. So it was, I have another business, and before, like I said, I was working on Harlem Hops, working with other people, and like I had like one client that, gets paid me on retainer. It was fine. I was making money. I just didn't have all the money saved to open up Harlem Hops. And then miraculously, I started getting all these new clients. And I just started saving that money. And then I just knew that I just needed this money for this thing. And it was for nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with, I don't have any kids, you know what I'm saying? Any financial responsibilities aside from my regular bills. So I can invest this money into myself is worth it. But I knew that things got into alignment when I was aligned with what my mission and my purpose was supposed to be. So, and that's pretty much how it has flown, it has gone for us. The fact that we survived COVID and watching everybody around us having to close, not able to stay open. We closed one day during COVID. And it's just been such a blessing because we're continuously giving back. And we have a nonprofit organization that also gives scholarships to Harlem students that want to attend HBCUs. We have all attended HBCUs. So we give out scholarships, and we were able to double the scholarships last year that we gave out from the first year. So, and we do, through the collaborations that we do, we use that money to put it back into the community. And it's really that simple. But Kevin has a great story as well.
No, just to piggyback on Kim, moving to Harlem, we here to Harlem in 2002, and I remember I'm a school teacher, math teacher, and I remember all my colleagues were like, "Why are you buying Harlem?" I was like, "Well, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I buy in Harlem? Where else would I buy?" And now hindsight, if you look at 2020 and 300,000 turned to 1.7. So I would say if anything, buy property right now, guys. Same thing with DC, Washington DC. Same thing in DC. Buying property in DC, and just back in the 90s, well, late 90s. No one wanted to be in DC. It was Chocolate City. Now it's Chocolate City. So just kind of use your own money. Use your own money instead of going to the bank and say, "Hey, Mr. Bankman, please give me 100,000 so I can open this business. Just borrow and get your property." So instead of renting, giving someone else your money, buy your own property. But yeah, Kim's pretty much summed everything up. This is something we want to do for years. Felicia's always in my ass, like, we need to stop doing it, stop talking about it, and do it. That's okay. Let's do it. So Felicia is partner number 4. So it's just Kim, myself, Stacy, and Felicia. So now we're us 4. We're in Harlem doing our thing. In a white man's industry. As Kim will always say, it's originally our industry, because back in the early times, we were making it, but yeah, so we've kind of taken it back over. We're taking it back over, and we're making sure that people get educated. Also, doing a good craft here. Are you mute?
This community is competing with that. Talk to us about resources. In terms of getting started.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Not to talk to us about resources in terms of getting started. Just coming up with, not only just money, but it seems like, you guys all have to have relationships outside of. So how did that come around for you?
Are you asking anyone, Felicia, or?
I was asking Imhotep. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry, sweetheart. Yeah.
I didn't hear the name. Okay. Well, we just did a lot of trial and error. There was really any first, especially when we first started, there wasn't really a blueprint. A lot of social media sites were just starting up, so a lot of it was just trial and error. I had been in the apparel business for years, learning screen printing and things like that. So just taking to another level was just about researching and researching and researching and researching. Ask questions and just about acquiring as much knowledge about the apparel industry as I could. So that's really what started with us, and just networking with other people who were doing apparel and doing fashion, and just learning as much as we could, while also trying to run and start the brand itself.
Okay. All right. And Derek and Leslie?
Well, I definitely agree with Imhotep. For us, it was community connection.
Yeah.
I mean, we did pull the resources that we had together to start, just to get for legal fees and the trademarking. But with wellness, it honestly wasn't that big of a startup cost, because our service was in the healing aspect of coming to the community. So when we first started, a lot of it was free. We go out to the park and be like, hey, we want to show you guys how to do comedic yoga. And people just started coming. And so the community has been our source of connections to the school system, to businesses, everything, to the point where they were like, we need this form of wellness because we've never had it before. So once we got that, just word of mouth and things like that, it wasn't because, well, I believe that we are good teachers, meaning we stay up on our craft.
Yes.
But I also believe that our people need this. We didn't have those type of, where do you get yoga classes that are talking about your DNA and your ancestry and how strong you are, and that you're a king and a queen, and your ancestors thought of this secret system to help you connect your body, mind, and spirit so that you could be, gather and be productive in society. Like, that was the original way.
Right.
And we don't have that.
Yeah,
we
don't
do
have
now.
that. Yeah, we have it now. And it's like one of the things that I've learned about comedic yoga is this is the first, in my opinion, ancient healthcare system, period. All other healthcare systems draw from us, just like they draw civilization from us and everything else. And they rearrange it and put their own spin on it and throw it back at us. But, this is our ancient healthcare system. And that's how I always look at comedic yoga.
Yeah. So community support was big. I mean, the first year, when I say it was rough, just meaning we worked hard just to push it. And then, just like Kim was saying, in our intentions, when we put our intentions into it, doors just started opening up, because we were ready and we were in what I call divine alignment.
Yeah. But what do you guys think about when people are like, trying to, like, they have an idea, they want to get started, but they feel like they don't have any expertise in that area? Like, what do you say to that?
I say find someone who whatever field you're trying to go into, find someone in that field. Because I feel like we look up everything else online, right? You can find all kind of trash online, in all type of entertainment. But when it comes to your vision and dreams, there's a disconnection there. Like, we can't find anything, but it's always there, So I say just open your eyes and look and search, and it'll pop up. Like Kim said, your intentions are everything, So once you want to really look at that and speak that out, it'll come. You'll look
at the Nile list.
Yeah, go to the Nile list. We have a research.
Yeah, that Nile list is fire. And Khadija, what made you call it the Nile list? Like, where did that come from? Like, versus just like blacklist.
So, right. And so number one of my things from the beginning is that people all around the world who are not Black draw so much from Black culture. And I wanted folks to draw to do as much supporting of our businesses and inputting their money into our entrepreneurs and our franchises as they do, borrowing our culture. And so I have never viewed the Nile list as something that is like directed to Black people in terms of shopping. It's always going to be about Black entrepreneurs and like what Black businesses are doing. But I wanted to make it clear that this is not like a Black website and it's only for Black people to shop. I think it's important that everybody, in the same way that they consume our culture and our fashion and our food and all our music and all this other stuff, also are consuming from our businesses and helping those stand up. So I didn't want to, be like the Black people website or, whatever else. so that was
the
one.
Nile list is, well, I mean, if people know, I mean, like, like, how did you come up with Nile?
Right. It actually, it has two sources. One as like an answer to a platform like Amazon, but then two, just thinking about how the Nile River has served as such an important conduit of commerce in that region of Africa, and thinking about how I wanted the Nile list to similarly serve as this conduit for commerce for these Black, businesses, these Black entities that are operating online. It's all about online shopping. We really took the name from those two places. And so it's like, it's a little bit of a play, but it's also just thinking about our history and what this, what the Nile symbolizes for not just really that region of Africa, but for Africa as a whole.
Absolutely. I mean, that's HAPI. You're the HAPI. I mean, it's the first place where the construct of economics started, at the Nile River. So that's why it's beautiful. Okay. You guys want to add anything from the hops? Nothing.
Kim?
No?
Just throw it at me.
That's going to be my next question in terms of like, because you guys are working, and Khadijah, you have like a whole team that you're working with as well. How, in the beginning, how was it easy? I mean, or was it easy? And if not, what were the challenges in figuring out who was going to do what? Because I noticed, like how, I'm asking you a question and Kevin's like, Kim, so it's like, It seems like you can figure some stuff out.
Well, for us, I think it happened very organically and naturally. We all played our position, like everybody knew where their strength lied, and Kevin had the strength in beer. You know what I mean? His knowledge of beer. He's been drinking craft beer his whole life. I won't say how long, but it's been a long time, right, Kevin? So when it wasn't even trendy, and like, he was the person that I prayed for, you know what I mean? And then when it came to Stacy, I knew that, her passion and her connection to giving with, the community, she's always been consistent with just being instrumental in helping people get educated and everything else. And then her strong marketing skills and our combined event planning skills, like, it's like a well-oiled machine. Everybody plays their position. Nobody wants to overstep their boundaries. So it was, for us, it was easy. And no one has ego, which is very important. This is much bigger than us. I think we all at this point understand that. And we just have a commitment to making sure we, strengthen our brand and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to pick Kim, she summed it up. This we all stay in our lane. Kim, before I met Kim, Felicia and I kind of wanted to open this in the downstairs unit of our home. So, but our rental unit was residential. So we tried to fight that battle of getting the zone conversion, and a mutual friend, a brother who works at CCNY, City College of New York, very intelligent brother. He linked Jason Watt, restaurant science. His business is pretty much jump-starting Black businesses throughout the metro, the New York metropolitan area. And he introduced Kim and myself, and it was Harlem Hops, right? She already had the ball rolling, and it's just divine intervention, just linking us together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You with that? How did you guys figure out who was going to do what?
Well, it was kind of easy because this wasn't the first business me and my wife had.
Oh, okay.
So she knows, if it's up to me, all I do is sit and draw all day. So, I mean, that's my passion since I can remember, just drawing and creating things. So, with our business, like I said, she's the brains behind it. She handles the books and the marketing aspect. She's behind that. Just about everything besides drawing, she's the one who dictates that. So we've been together for a while, so we kind of already knew our positions, and then it was just a matter of we have a few other people we work with, that assist us, but ours kind of fell into place, like I said, because we had had a t-shirt shop before. Wasn't a branded t-shirt shop; it was more screen printing and doing custom artwork. So when we decided to do our own thing, it kind of fell into place. Our roles and what we do. But she's the talker, I'm the drawer. Like this is out my element. At the time, because like I said, if it's up to me, I sit behind and draw all day. But that's also been a part of a learning experience, because you have to learn business as well. As much as I like drawing art, you have to be able to learn business, and you get into it with a passion. And it's a spiritual journey as well. Because you're doing something you're spiritually attached to. But you have to recognize that it is a business, and you got to learn trademarks, copyrights, licensing, all those different things. Retail, spoil, all these different things that come with retail and having a business. So that's been a journey as well. Learning that, and that's something we've been able to do together. Just feeding off each other and learning from other entrepreneurs. Like everyone here, you learn a little bit from everybody else. Adding to your repertoire.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Derek and Leslie?
Well, for us, I would say, I know I pointed to her in the beginning, it was like she's the brains, right? And not to diminish my brain power, because it's there too. But let me say this: I'm more of the recruiter, right? So I'm the one who they'll probably see my face first when I go out to like get businesses or get certain locations, And my wife is like, she's super organized, right? Like incredibly organized.
Oh, thanks.
So she does. So she's like, she teaches me the business side of it. Like, okay, baby, I know you went out and got this. Oh, baby, we got a new contract. Boom, boom, boom. Good.
Well, what's one thing I want to just interject for a quick one little thing. So when I asked Derek, would he be interested in writing for the HAPI newsletter, and he was like, "Oh, this is a good idea." And he was like, "Okay, now, I want to do it, but I gotta make sure. I gotta just let Leslie know. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I talk to Leslie first, And you must have said that to me like 4 or 5 times on the phone, and then you also texted it to me, and I was like, okay, it's good to know who does what.
Yeah.
Right.
He's very aware of, like, I think last year we were doing so much and taking too much on our plate. So now we're you have to learn how to like pick and choose what you can really have on your plate. But he's being modest. When I say he recruits, not just he's out in the community. When we go in the community, it's reciprocal. Derek will go into a school and volunteer for the school before he even talks about yoga at all. Like, he wants to show that reciprocal. Like, I am invested in this community. I'm going to go here and work with these kids, and then I'll come to you and say, hey, would you like to have yoga? He does that with businesses. He'll offer business owners a free session. Hey, you look like you're kind of stressed out. You ever thought about having a yoga session? Like, he's the epitome of community connection, because it's not about just soliciting contracts. It's about, what can I do for you and what can you do for me? And that, once again, that's that balance. That's that mayat. I want to sow into your business the same way you sow into ours. Yeah, I do handle. I'm like invoice queen. Like, gotta get the invoice paid. Like, we gotta get, that's just me. But he needs to be the one out there because I'm a little bit more technical. Until I come back to the yoga part, then we're both balanced when we teach together. But you're definitely being super modest, and the community part is just as much important as all the other stuff. It's essentially our business. That's how we get 80% of our contracts. Yeah.
And just real quick, Felicia, she's my wife is very she teaches me the business side, when it comes to like posting and things like that. But beyond posting, I'm talking about how to do an invoice, how to do contracts, how to do just that paperwork, the background, because she's an HBCU graduate as well. So
where did you go? I'm sorry.
I went to Hampton University.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The real issue.
No.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay. I just want to be clear. Just you guys went to the institute. Okay.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry. Look, I'm looking at Khadijah and Kim. There's like, I know.
I don't get into this because I went to the #1 HBCU, so I don't really.
I was the #1 HBCU, Clark Atlanta University. Clark Atlanta University.
Number 3, Kim. Number 4, maybe.
But what's interesting is that Spelman had, and props off because we also work with Abu Shashat, and she's a yoga girl. Sai, and Sai went to Spelman, and I saw that you guys had the most amount of applicants ever, like in the history of applicants anywhere, apply to Spelman. So you guys are definitely, that's what's up.
I love my HBCU. I love all HBCUs though, so it's all friendly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but okay.
Oh.
I like you guys after I like Howard. How's that?
What school?
But that's it's interesting, and I know Imhotep also alluded to this about this relationship building, right? And starting and really taking that part on as it's a resource, and it's not something that just is very easy to do as well, in terms of like building relationships and cultivating those relationships. So if you guys had to just give some advice for somebody that's like getting ready to get their business going, what do you think are like 3 things that you think that they have to have in terms of starting their business? What are some things that you think that they must have?
Energy.
Yeah. Tough skin. You have to be able to take a bunch of no's.
Oh my gosh.
Fortitude. I would say a good lawyer. Like you need legal advice behind you.
Khadijah's face, where your faces are just life right now to me. You're like, yes, you want it, yes. You're like, yes, you want a good lawyer. Yeah, that's for sure.
And an actual business license, because you block yourself out of so much stuff. If people are like, oh, what's your EIN? Are you licensed? Are you registered? And you're like, nah, email me.
And I would say a business plan. You know what I mean? I think a solid business plan is important. It's like a living and breathing organism. It always changes. But like, it's something to look back on, and like when I look back on our business plan, and I'm like, wow, we have accomplished things that we were supposed to accomplish much later, and staying on par with what we set, the intentions that we set from the beginning, from the start. So it's just a good documentation, and anything that I start, I write the plan. I start off with the plan. So I think that's part of setting your intentions. And growing from there.
True. I'll also say having a passion, not just get into the business just for money. So just look at dollar signs. Have a love of what you're doing, and I'll reiterate this again, guys. Now buy some property right now. Go to Newark, go to Orange, New Jersey. Buy property. Because who would have told us in 2099 and a property that was worth 90,000 in DC would be 900 now. And if I can go back in time and tell myself to buy 3, 4, fleece you, buy 3 more, but it's hindsight's 2020. So it's right now, go to Newark, go to Orange, New Jersey, go to some of the areas that Whitey, I don't want to say, well, Whitey doesn't want to go into, that our people are in, and buy property right there near a train station, a block away from the train station, Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. Just do it now. Stop renting.
And you're talking about buying property as a way to so that you can be able to take money out to
just being able to like being self-sufficient, instead of giving someone else your money every month, give yourself your money. It's like it's nice, just give yourself your money, and let that equity grow. It's going to grow in these urban cities because that's the blueprint. As you know, Felicia, we bought in DC in '99, and look at that property. We bought in Harlem 2002. Look at this property. So it's like hindsight. Like we can go back and tell our younger selves.
Well, we don't have to tell younger selves. We can tell everybody that's on this call right now. Buy some property. Yeah, like it's a way. It's not the ultimate way, but it is a way to get some resource, some money to be able to do other things. And you can always get a property and put your business in the property so that you get that additional tax write-offs and stuff like that. DJ, you have anything to add, like some things you must have?
Things you must have. So outside of what everyone has already said, accountant for sure. Because if your books are not right, and we're trying to get our books up to date now, so I'm guilty of it myself. It is a mess and it's some headache. I will also say, make sure that you have a website, like somewhere that you live online, even if you don't actually sell products online. If you're service based. Don't solely transact via email or even social media because it can be hard to keep up with what you've done. You have a home base that people can always find you, and people may just stumble across you just in a Google search or something like that. So having a website, I think, is key, even from the beginning. And it could be something very simple that you make yourself. We made our first landing page like ourselves, and I don't code. So it can be very simple. And then outside of the community, I would also say just get used to not sleeping the same way that you slept before. Because even if you're not actively working, a lot of times I was up until 4 a.m. today just because I had so much on my mind about the business. It wasn't even like I was sitting there actually working on the business. I was just laying back, turning over in my head all the things that we have going on. And I know that anybody who has been, who's been an entrepreneur for a while can tell you that they have times like that frequently. So just let go to sleep.
I was going to ask you guys, that was my next question. How do you decompress? Or how, is there anything that you guys are specifically doing because you are an entrepreneur that you maybe didn't get before, in terms of
That's a good question. Wow, that's a good question.
Meditation app called Liberate. I use them pretty frequently. If y'all haven't heard of it, you should definitely check it out. But I do that. And I also started doing like just short morning yoga routines. So I got to get some Black Silt. If y'all got some videos, let me check them out. Cause I'll be in my bedroom with my yoga mat.
We got you.
I struggle because I am like not flexible and I'm out of shape, but I be trying.
I'm up at 4 too, so I'll do some breathing with you. No problem. It's harder for us because we teach yoga. It's hard to, you have to disconnect. Like I do yoga, of course, to heal myself. But a lot of times while I'm doing it now, I start thinking about, I could do this for my client, tomorrow. So like we just went camping, just something out of the ordinary that we wouldn't normally do. But it was like the most therapeutic for us, just being outdoors and kind of having to rough it a little bit, but just sitting back and enjoying nature, as we call it. It was actually very therapeutic, just being outdoors in a different way. So that's what we do. And music.
And music, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imhotep, what do you do to just keep the business piece together and to keep your creative juices flowing? Is there anything you do specifically?
Like I said, when it comes to art, I draw all the time. So I got a few brands working on, so it's always something coming through, and usually I have to detach by traveling, spend time with family. Sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in trying to get your business going, and you'll lose sight of sometimes what's important. Well, someone can lose sight. So I spend a lot of time with my children, not talking about business, just talking about their life, being involved with them, teaching basketball, when my sons were younger, just try to get away from just business in general and doing things to clear your mind, because it can get very, very stressful. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. And, like you said, you have to find different things to offset that. I just started boxing mainly to get in shape, but in the boxing ring, it allows you to just not think about shirts and websites and sales and customer, you got all the different things you have to deal with. So just definitely pick a hobby outside of the scope of what you're working on. I would advise anyone to do, and definitely don't, forget about your family. Definitely spend time with them, and stay in your children's lives and stuff like that. Your parents' lives, their lives. Anybody who you can talk to just to get away from the daily stress of what's going on, and that's whether you're an entrepreneur or not. If you're working a job, you're doing anything, it's good to just have a happy place, like I say, where you don't talk about work, you don't talk about business. Me and my wife will have a day where we say no business today. After we get our orders out, we just take the day off, go on a walk, nature trail or whatever, just to clear your mind, so you don't caught up in it. And I might also add that what I found to be beneficial is that when we're trying to having a Black business is also a spiritual experience, because you're trying to connect with other people. You're not just trying to make money. You're trying to relay a message and connect with other people, and relying on that spirituality in the business sometimes can help out, because it's not just about money all day, as you see a lot of companies they do anything for $1, so that spiritual aspect with the business and Kemet and Kush and all that, to me, helps, alleviate a lot of stress of just having a business. It's something you enjoy. It's a part of your life, beyond just, in our case, shirts or pictures or hats or whatever.
Yeah, I tell you, your stuff is spiritual, like straight up. And when I look at your page, I actually use your pictures as inspiration. When you have people on with your gear, like they're beautiful works of art. I'm like, oh my God, and to speak to that for a moment, because that's one of the things that I notice about everyone's just in doing research, because it's like I know you, I know of your brand, I know who you are, but there's just things I want to just tell you about, like what I see, like when I'm just looking at your stuff. So like Khadijah, like when you go to the Nile list, it's very the same. It does feel free flowing. Your colors, everything is like nice, and and I'm like, aesthetically, it is beautiful, and it also, it's top notch. Same with black Silt. I just look at you guys' stuff. I just look at pictures of you guys. Three pictures you guys are together. You're doing something. I mean, it's really, it's just very inspirational. And then like in the hops, and so I have a special place for the hops, because one of the things when I was in Egypt, Kemet, a lot of one of the first places we went to, we saw these big like vats of beer. Right. And everyone, and I'm just like, people get it twisted. Like, we see what we see people drinking beer, right? And we don't see ourselves. But it's like when you say that we actually, like this was the breakfast of champions. These people drank beer and then built the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that right there. You know, and so can you just talk? Yeah, because there's something about like the aesthetics of Harlem hops. And if anyone listening, if you don't live in New York City, but if you ever get to the city, you should definitely, check them out. Can you talk about like the aesthetics of like, like why you created what we're looking at, in terms of your brand?
Well, I think in terms of the aesthetics, initially we worked with an interior designer that created this vision. Like a mood board for the space. Mm-hmm. And she threw out some ideas, and there was a lot of copper and then a lot of concrete. And that's basically when you think about the copper and the concrete, just generally speaking, and everything being black, it doesn't sound like it's going to work, right? But then, our contractor was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? You're going to make everything black. And I was like, everything has to be black. I want the bar to be black. I want the walls to be black. I want the ceiling to be black. Everything in this place has got to be black. And then we're going to, put a dash of copper in there. So it all came together. And then as I, later on, then I realized that copper and concrete was it was two elements that were that you can find in the pyramids and find in ancient Kemet, and it's like I said, like things kind of just organically came together without us really doing that much history. But now it's like, for me, I'm like, no, I want to dig deeper into this history. Just from the beginning, I wanted to have more of a connection to whatever the story that we're supposed to be telling was. And, over time, I'm learning more and more and trying to solidify that in everything that we do. So it's definitely like a womb-like experience when you come into the bar. It's very warm and welcoming. And that's our space. And it's a great environment. We have amazing music. Just the lighting, the vibe, everything is it's perfect for people to want to just hang out and just spend time drinking and learning about each other.
I love it.
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to go now.
I know, right?
Yeah. And so Miss Khadija, talk to us about like where did those colors come from? What when you were thinking about aesthetically, like how
I always knew I wanted something blue. I had to have the blue in there, and that just ties in with the name. And then I think we really wanted to communicate that this platform is about quality. It's about substance. We're trying to make sure that you're offering people a very well thought out experience. And I think that deep blue really helps tie everything together. But we were very purposeful about the colors. And we recently adjusted our color palette a bit, but just branding in general is so important for anybody, whether you're a service related business or whether you're a products and goods business. Branding is always so important, because if they see, when people are looking at two different products and they see one that like looks super fancy and it looks luxurious and the packaging is amazing, is beautiful, and then they see yours and it's like a real plain jar with just a little sticker and you hand wrote what the name of the thing was, and like you have to start somewhere. So I'm not putting people down, but people look at that and they automatically gravitate towards the one that looks nicer, even if it's more expensive and even if it's not as nice. Like I know we all know people who make bomb products and the packaging is just janky and we still buy it anyway because we know that it's bomb. But imagine if their packaging was really giving you that same, when you tried it, you're like, oh, this is my jam. So, and you got to communicate that via the internet for us. So
yes. So one of the things that the Nile list does now, they have these curated. I like anything that starts off with curated. Okay, I think the hops. You guys should think about doing a curated little box. Just like this. Mm-hmm. So this is the Nile list box, but you have several. And so when you open it up, and I got this today, and I was like, I purposely didn't open it up because I didn't want to get preoccupied with the products because I love products. But you're opening it up because, like, when you're talking about aesthetically, so you have a little, like a little thing. Oh, it's a stuffed care box. It's so nice.
Yes.
It's a nice letter, which is nice. And then also, you're opening up. Oh gosh. See, this makes me so happy. I can't even finish the rest because this is, oh my God. And these are full-size products you have in here.
It's all about the branding. It is all about the branding. When people open it up and they're like, oh, it's a little experience opening the box. And then they get in there and they're like, oh, I want to try this. I like this,
It's a candle. Oh, okay. Yes.
Is that a Tekken candle?
It's a little candle discovery set. So there are 4 different candle fragrances in there.
That's great. I gotta get on that list.
Wow.
Okay, yes, you gotta sign up for the Nile box, and it comes. It's 4 times a year, right?
Yes, it's quarterly. But what we're about to do, so we actually have our site down for maintenance right now because we have a lot of exciting stuff happening, including building a little marketplace so people can shop with a bunch of different Black businesses all on our platform. And we're about to release a whole set of mini boxes. So that box has somewhere between like 6 and 8 brands in it usually. Our mini box is going to have 3 different products from different brands that you can try out. And you'll be able to buy those like one-off. These you can also just buy one, or you can buy the subscription. But we really want to make it easy for people to just discover a whole bunch of new Black businesses.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to discover these. It's really great. Black Silt Yoga. Tell us about how did you guys come up with this?
The actual concept, the name, came to me in a dream, actually. But silt is the soil. It's funny, like you said, we feel like we're in the right energy because we talk about the HAPI and the Nile, and which was the original name, and the silt was the richest soil that would erode onto the Nile's banks after they would flood. And this was the only time that the farmers would grow their crops. So we look at the silt as, this fertile soil, and we honestly look at each of our clients as seeds. So we feel like we're literally sowing seeds of wellness into people to get the best product, yielding the best fruit. And we're the most creative, the most productive, the most amazing people on this planet. Mm-hmm. And I really do believe that we are the fruits of this abundant and rich soil. So that's how we came up with Black Silt Yoga. It literally came to me in a dream, like this erosion of dirt, like on a river, and then us planting seeds in it. And honestly, like that's how it came. Seriously. I even woke up and was like, I got this amazing thing we have to do, and that's how it happened. But just like probably Kim and Khadijah was saying, things just happen and you fall into it. And like Kim was saying, when you said that the concrete and the copper, you weren't really aware then as much as you know now. That's how it was for us. We weren't aware of everything in Kemet, but we went there to find out more, and just all the things that have opened up since then and all the revelations we've learned. Sometimes I'll be practicing, Felicia, or teaching a client, and words will come out of my mouth literally that I'm like, how did I even learn this information right in front of you? And I'm sharing this with you. And that is literally how it'll come out. Mm-hmm. And I can't even explain it, but it's like, I can't stop because I'm that passionate about it. Mm. When you are dealing with a woman who's at home and she's feeling like, I don't think I can move. I don't think I can do anything. And one day she just opens up and gets that release and said, I've never felt this release before. What is this? And I'm like, you're a queen. You are ancestrally tapping into your DNA, and through breath and movement, that life force energy is healing you internally. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff that we teach. And it's something, what good is a gift if you can't share it with your people? And so that's what it is for us, sowing seeds. That's our slogan, sowing Kemetic seeds yields eternal healing. So that's just how I talk a lot. I have to get him to stop me.
I'm gonna say this to you also. We follow, so the season we're now in is Shimu season, right? Which is the season of harvest. So things are really starting to open up. We actually really follow these seasons, and so there's a time where there's the, in the nation season, now we're in the Shimu, which is everything springing forth now, but they call it spring, but it's harvest time. So we look at harvest just like this network. To us, meeting Harlem Hops, Nuwbia, Khadijah, Felicia, just this connection is a harvest. It is. Like you said, it's not just money. This is a network of us reconnecting back to our DNA and saying, what can we give back to each other in order to give back to our community? So I always see people as a commodity. It's not just the physical money, but this right here is like, this is commodity between us as a people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I know. I talk to a lot of people all the time, and I'm always like, oh, do this, and you guys are definitely like on the forefront of, been on the forefront of my brain like all year, because it's it feels like it's very reciprocal, which is important. And I think sometimes when we have businesses, we're always telling our consumers, buy Black, support each other, but businesses also need to support other businesses.
Yes.
Like that's how we can really just move people, move the people. All right. So Gerald, talk to us about like your look. Well, you're an artist, so this is your thing. This is your thing right here.
Ooh. Oh.
No. Let me tell you. I gotta find this hat. Go ahead, Gerald. Go ahead and talk. But I'm gonna find this hat. I wish to wear hat.
It's kind of easy, because in Egypt and Sudan, and we like to try to make a lot of emphasis on Sudan and Kush, because it's like the forgotten empire. So we kind of embrace both. They're cousins, is Dr. Clark explained, really just cousins. But one has been pushed, to the background, namely Sudan. So we try to embrace both cultures, but our ancestors left us, a wealth of information and art for me to draw upon. So it was kind of easy. They were very colorful society. I mean, Black people in general, just we're very expressive with our art. So I just took it as upon myself to just learn from what they did in the past. And, I'm an ex-graffiti artist, so this took my art skills and just overlaid it on what they had already laid. So mine was kind of easy, just try to be creative with it and be very authentic. That's important. It's going to be important for me. Because, you would see other cultures take Kemetic and Kushite art, and they would, mess up the metal netter and mess up the artwork and, Europeanize it. So we want to make sure we, portray it in the proper manner, as well as it being authentic. So if you read it, if you're able to read the metal netter, or you're striving to read it, or you pick up words or information, words of power, it's very powerful. So, we wanted to make sure that what people were wearing and, what we were wearing, it not just looked good, but it also has, power within what you were, wearing. Like it actually has meaning. That's very important because, when you look at a lot of apparel companies, we're just wearing symbolisms and words that empower other people. Words are very, very powerful. So we took it back. So, we want to glorify our history, glorify our ancestors. And like I said, it was simple because they left so much for us. It was something for us to draw upon. So I was able to merge, like I said, my ex-graffiti background with Kemetic art and make magic happen.
I got my son this shirt, and he pulled it out the other day, and he was telling me, he's like, "Mommy, look what I have." And I was thinking, I totally bought that for you, but I guess he just sometimes kids don't, they can't make the connection sometimes. So anyway, and he's telling me about the shirt, like I don't already know. He's like, "It's so nice." He's like, "Look at these symbols." I mean, it was literally, I wish I had my phone because it was a perfect commercial for your gear. And he's going into detail because he's doing some history now with Atlantis Browder. I love that Anthony's daughter is teaching now. And so he's putting these, because just like what you're saying, he's making these connections, which is super important to like who he is as a little person. He's not a little person. He's 17, almost 17 now. But I mean,
young man.
Yeah, it's been really important.
That was important for us, though. Just to keep the culture authentic. We just didn't want to throw slim symbols on shirts, and we didn't know the meaning, and we wanted to make it so that anyone wearing it would know that they were wearing words of power on them. Protection and and glorification. Like I said, the first step is the glorification of our ancestors. And in turn, that spiritual world empowers us. If we call on them and respect them. Respect the nature. And all of our businesses are some way doing that. Whatever sector of business you're in. We're all respecting nature. And our ancestors in our own special way, and that empowers the collective, whether we realize it or not.
Absolutely. Okay, so just in closing, guys, just if you can just leave like one little piece of pearl, like a pearl that people can hold on to if they're thinking about opening a business, and this is the other thing, not everybody has to have a business, but if you don't think that you're cut out to do what our guests are doing, it's okay. There's a lot of other ways you can support. You can support by purchasing, things from other people or giving people seed money to get started in their business. If you don't have the, like you were saying, Khadijah, about your friend, she was like, "Look, this is a little too much," So if everyone could just leave a little piece of like a nice pearl of wisdom, while we close out.
Really? I'll start. I think a good pearl, I have a lot of pearls of wisdom. But one of the things is that just never stop giving up. If you have something, an idea that's laid on you and you can't sleep and you're always thinking about it and you're challenged with whatever it is you're challenged with, try to understand that it's definitely something that you're supposed to be doing. You just have to figure out why these challenges are coming your way, and just stay focused and just never, like, if you give up, you'll never know how far you can go, And there's one more pearl that I wanted to share. I forgot what it was though.
Kim has a lot of little pearls. You started the party started when you said, align your intentions with your, your intentions. Your intentions are aligned, then everything else works out.
Yeah, and living with their purpose. And one of the things that I think, I can't remember who mentioned it, but it's something about when you, my life coach encouraged me. He was like, he gave me an idea that everybody has their own personal genius. And, you feel like you don't have the knowledge that you think you do have, but out of nowhere, you'll just find these ideas just come into your brain. And you're like, where did this come from? Like, I look at my old readings and I'm like, who wrote this? You know what I mean? Like, I know this just like, just off the top of my brain, it's not something that I would have personally said. But then when I read it, I'm like, this sounds really smart. I don't know who this person is, but she's inside of me somewhere. So just trust your own genius and know that gut is all that matters, and never lead with the money. The money is the last thing you have to worry about. You have to get your whole business together before you have to worry about where you spending this money, because that's the whole point. Like, if you don't know where you're going to spend the money, what do you need it for? You know what I mean? Like, that's the last thing you have to ever worry about, especially as Black people, because we have the power to get the money that we need, but we don't ever know. We don't set our intentions first. foremost. And then we're so worried about the money that we're blocking all the other blessings that are to come. So the last thing you worry about is money, because it'll definitely follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like it.
And I have to go now. I'm so sorry, guys. So thank you so much. It was great meeting you all, and this has been a great call. Thank you, Felicia.
Yeah, no
for
problem.
inviting us.
Right. Yeah, we all need to stay at the Hops and have a little drink when everybody's in town.
Oh yeah, you can try our new beer. Our new beer just came out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Do we have any more left, Kevin?
Yeah, we have about 6 cases left. And it's
wow.
a collaboration between Black artists, 2 Black brewers, Black beer bar, and yeah, you guys coming out and give it a shot. It's a Belgium triple 8.5, so it's serious, but it's a very has banana notes to it, has a nutmeg note to it, and you guys will like it. You guys will enjoy it. Yeah.
It's called La Renaissance de Moon.
Yeah.
And it's basically, the rebirth of the world. You know what I mean? I mean, after surviving COVID, we have a new world that we're into, and now we kind of wanted to play with that idea of just dismantling the idea that Black people can't work together, and just a bunch of us coming together and organically. And what we find, especially in the beer industry, is that if you're paying attention to beer, a lot of them are thriving because of the symbols that they have on their beer. It'd be like hip hop artists or hip hop lyrics, but never not acknowledge those artists and their lyrics. So we worked with an artist that did a song called Harlem Hops.
Yeah, Khadija artwork and the marketing. So yeah, that's true.
Right, and St. Cassius is the artist that came up with the music. The Black Roosevelt Taylor, he's a Harlem artist. He designed the can art for our can, and we give them acknowledgement throughout the whole process. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point, is that we as a people, we have to show our people, like, in order for you to not be considered appropriating, these are the things you need to do in order to be, to thrive in this industry, and not as we are taking over.
Good times.
That's the beer art right there, the new beer art. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that art is dope.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's like a good times mural. Like,
I love it.
It's dope.
Makes you want to dance. All right. Well, thank you. I know you have to go, Kim.
I do. Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Miss Khadija, you have some bit of some pearls.
I will say, just ask for help.
Yeah.
Do not suffer in silence, and don't be on that Google late at night trying to figure out some stuff you don't know nothing about. And you probably have so many people around you who can help you if you ask. A lot of times we as business owners want to do everything ourselves. We never want to delegate, or we want to try to figure it out because we're so used to being self-sufficient, and you will ground yourself into the dirt and then be completely burnt out and be bitter. And a lot of times people get bitter and they get frustrated and angry, and they feel like they've lost the passion for the business. And it's really just because you're so burnt out from trying to do everything yourself. So ask for help. And especially because some stuff you're just not good at. I'm an attorney, and I know I can look at a contract, I can mark it up, I can negotiate, I can do all of that. But when it comes to numbers, I be looking at this thing like, what is this foreign language? I need an accountant. I'm not even going to try to play myself because I already know I need help. And so I think just know your strengths, ask for help.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like DM's one of our frequent cats that always come and support HAPI. He's like, a closed mouth won't get fed.
Literally.
Yep. Yeah, that's what's up. Okay. Derek and Leslie.
Well, my advice will be this. So if you're starting a business, a lot of times you're working a 9 to 5 before you try to get into the business full time. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've learned on my last job was we're always in a rush to get out of somewhere because it's like, we're frustrated, we want to do our own thing, and you're missing nuggets. So one thing that I learned was to get under like the manager, not to say brown nose, but just say, learn what you can from someone who's already established, right? So it's almost like getting nuggets and leave with those nuggets. And you don't even have to tell people, oh, I'm leaving at this time. You know, so one of the things I learned was they would invite me into meetings, like when they were talking about budgets and things like that. And I was on the road, so sometimes I couldn't make it. But when I started coming back earlier, they were like, hey, come in here, because, you know, let us teach you. And so I was like, wow, this is good. So I started going into these meetings where they were talking to the corporate head of the company. And I would sit in these meetings with them, and I would just take the time, like, you know, keep the time for the meeting. And within that, I understood how the business ran. Like, okay, this is how you do this is how your finances come in. This is how you market. This is how you do this. So wherever you are, my nugget of advice is wherever you are, don't get so frustrated that you leave without actually getting knowledge of how they're, you know, succeeding. You know, what were your steps, you know? So it's all about being smart about where you are, right? So that would be my nugget, is just be smart about where you are, tough it out, and, you know, get what you can from people, even if you don't like the people, because it's about your business, not about, you know, your feelings all the time, because your feelings gonna get hurt. They're up and down. So that's my nugget of advice. Is
and I just want to piggyback off of what my husband's saying. What Kevin was saying, you know, a lot of times we're so closed-minded on things like real estate and things that really can help you. And we just always think we know how to do everything. And for a long time, I was like, no, we can do this. We can do this. It took 100 people to tell me, hey, you should probably just think about, you know, getting into real estate or think about other investments, because you can't do it by yourself. No. You need these solid forms of income that's going to help you. And that's what's going to grow your business. And you can't be afraid of it. I used to be scared of things like real estate. To even hearing it, you're like, I can't, how do I do this? Who does these kind of things? And then when you speak to someone, they're like, I can help you. Let me help you. And the minute I opened myself up, that's when we started saying, okay, let's go to these conferences. Everybody's going to these real estate conferences. Let's find out. And we were like, oh my God, all we had to do was this to tap in. You know, you just start feeling silly, you know, that you didn't listen. So I was like, kind of piggybacking off what Khadijah was saying, just be open-minded, be willing to accept help. And the help doesn't even have to come in the form of what you're doing. It doesn't have to be wellness. It could be something else that's going to spearhead or push along what you're doing even further. All you're going to do is help more people and yourself in the process. So thank you. And I appreciate what you said earlier, because a lot of times people just shy away from things that sound scary until you just tap in and you're like, okay, I can do it.
It's interesting you say that, because we had a screening. I think it might have been two screenings ago. And after the screening, we do a little talk back. And the talk back had Jabari Ozazi, who is he's a historian, he's a Kemetic priest. And he got on there and he just made a little note about flipping homes. And it went on to a whole conversation about like almost 30 minutes of how that is how he, you know, that's how he makes money, him and his wife. He said, you know, we do this Kemetic priest thing. He was like, we're a priest, we're historians, but we also flip homes. And other places. And people were like, oh my God. And then he just gave all the information. He was like, just go on this website, do this, start here, you know. And so that's one of those, that's the reason, guys, sign up for this this screening, because the talk back is all of that. You never know where it's going to go. But it's just like what you're saying, like, you know, opening, you know, just expanding our horizons when we're thinking about opening up a business. That's good. Kevin, you have any wisdom pearls?
You guys pretty much said everything right there. You know, just follow your. I mean, not to be cliche, but you know, you got to really follow your dreams. You know, if you in a comic book store, if you in an album store, I mean, whatever you into, you know, just gotta just, you know, sleep and eat it, and and it's ways to get money. Start now. Just fresh out of college, you know. Hey, you know, like I said before, yeah. Go to Newark, buy a property. Start like that. Go to Newark, buy a property. You know. You're probably mad. You be like, oh, man, this is the hood. All these cats right. But then in 5 years, you're like, damn, shit, I got $900,000 a day. What is happening? You know, it's just just yep. And that's it, yeah, guys. So thank you guys. This has been a pleasure. So much wisdom here. I'm just humbled. I'm very humbled. You're very humbled. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. And Imhotep, what can you leave us with?
What didn't everybody cover? It's first of all, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us on here. And I would just say, focus on making your customer happy. Focus on making them happy, and while maintaining your integrity with your products, but making people happy, and realize that if you're going to be an entrepreneur and go into business, that your customer is the one who's going to be paying for. They taking care of you in a sense. So you gotta keep that in mind, and they're spending their hard-earned money, on a small business or large business or whatever, and just focus on making them happy, and customer satisfaction goes a long way. And it's one of the biggest keys I've learned to stay in business for a while is, get repeat customers and people happy and come back. They definitely, they pay the bills in essence. They the boss, if you're an entrepreneur. So the whole myth about Black people don't support Black people is not true. It's a lot of Black people who are looking for, businesses they can support. But you have to keep it in mind and take care of them on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm just thank you guys so much, for coming in and dropping your knowledge. It's just, and you guys all have 4 beautiful businesses that the only thing I haven't supported yet is this yoga. I'm on there. Maybe Khadijah and I can do a class together, because I took one yoga class. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even hardly move. It looks so easy. I see you guys. Right. It's something even just like a little thing like this. You're like, oh, that's easy. Next thing I know, I'm laying down. I need to. We're gonna have to. We need a little beginner course.
We're gonna work on that.
We do some beginner stuff. Just a beginner, like you stand and maybe an arm or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put you guys back. I'm gonna finish out the show, but I'm just gonna put you in the green room. Just don't sign off yet, and I'll be right with you. Okay, but thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you, Felicia.
Nice meeting everybody.
Yay! All right, guys, there it is. Let me tell you, this Nile box is like, see, this is why I didn't want to open it today, because I would have been preoccupied with the Nile box. You've got to get this. These are full-size products. Oh my God, this is beautiful. So listen, May 1st, everyone, May 1st, we have our screening. Please go to hapifilm.com and get your tickets. It is going to be fabulous. We have some really good key cast members that are going to come in afterwards. 7 p.m., get your ticket. And listen, these tickets are really priced nice. So you can get a ticket for yourself. And of course, have everyone come and sit down at your place. And this is the type of film that you actually need to see, like not on your phone, because we shot this across like 7 countries. Or 7 countries. So it's very important that you guys, like really see this where it's just, you can see the beautiful images. So go to hapifilm.com and, check that out. The other piece is, and then also I was telling you, because the tickets they're nicely priced, get a ticket for somebody else. Anybody, will find value in this, in this film. So please support us. A lot of times, it's just it's this reciprocal love. You support us and we put it right back into the community. Just like the 4 guests that we had today, the 4 businesses, they are making money and they're putting it right back into the community. And so it's very important that, we support each other that way. Okay, so until next time, next week, we have Ranoko Rashidi is coming in on Monday. He's getting ready to do an end of the month webinar where he's going to look at the African presence in Europe. So he always comes onto the HAPI Talks and gives us like a little sneak preview. So he'll be here on Monday. And then we have King Randall. This is a gentleman who he's a young brother who, was just again, like our business owners, he saw a need in the community, and he's like, no one's really teaching these kids. And he started bringing them to his house, and he started building out all these programs. He ended up buying a school bus. Like, he is doing his thing, and he's under 25. So I tell you, we love our young people. So make sure that you guys tune in on Monday and Wednesday. King Randall will be here on Wednesday. So without further, any more announcements, just thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, peace.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority. Honestly,
who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our communities?